Hi guys, you're listening to the Wreck the Closet podcast. We expose fashions in a serious way. Episode 1. Who are the monsters?
My name is Emika,
My name is Luptan.
and we are the Fashion Sister. Recently, I found a quote from Google. It mentioned that fast fashion, the monster in the closet. I think it's quite interesting, and I guess that you would like to know what it is about.
Wow, it is interesting as it's a metaphor which we will touch it on today, right?
Before we start talking about it, I just want to know what makes you in a bad mood today.
Oh my goodness, it's such a bad day in this morning. I was in a hurry and I spilled the coffee on my shirt before I got here.
What? What did you do?
It was my favorite one, sis, but it is Givenchy.
Oh my god, Givenchy?
Yes, but luckily I have a lot of spare clothes in my car and it's just a normal fast fashion brand.
And yes, you bring back our topic nicely, sis. You mentioned about fast fashion, and I think the listener would question what is it?
Okay, let me give the example. The fast fashion, right, is the Zara, H&M, Uniqlo, Grab, and Forever 21.
Brands for mass, right?
Yes.
And why is it so cheap? I'm actually curious about the price and its collection. There are so many. I was always left behind. As far as I know, luxury fashion like your coffee spill Givenchy is a leader and is the trendsetter to tell consumer what to like, buy, and wear. Meanwhile, the fast fashion player wait for the luxury label to do all the creative work and then replicate those style later.
Exactly. The luxury brands is the reader, right? And then fast fashions always come like after because they try to copy the product on the runway and build to be their own brands. As you know that Zara, H&M, Uniqlo, Grab, and Forever 21 are the leader in fast fashion industry.
So I can see those brands have turned up in every corner in the city.
Yes, every corner in the city. Okay, let me explain you more about the fast fashions. The fast fashion is a design, manufacturing, and marketing method that focus on the rapidly producing high volume of the clothing. And those brands launch several new products many times in a week in order to keep the brand to on trend. And you know what? The fast fashions try to grab the customer want the product with the high fashion but in the low price. Maybe the target customer like you and me, and they know that the customer target is huge. That's why the fast fashion is becoming successful, and that's why you cannot catch up, sis.
Ah, yeah, the bigger the production, the lower the cost I see.
Yes. And not only that, because brand also choose the low labor wage country because they conduct the business in the Red Ocean, right? So they focus on the low price.
Like China and India. I have actually heard the news about Nike's case in Bangladesh, and the fast fashion impact goes far beyond profits. What I want to emphasize is the inhuman working condition of the workforce in the industry. There is the unfairness going on.
Yes, of course.
I had one question for you. Do you agree with this sentence? It said that fast fashion isn't free. Someone somewhere is paying.
I totally agree with that because the fast fashion industry requires speedy supply chains to catch up the influx of mass consumer demand, right? So they need the supply chains that rely on the outsourced and often unpaid labor from the factory worker overseas. Besides, the environmental damage and resource intensive activity also occur.
Isn't it the tragedy of the common?
Right, right. All of this is out of the radar, and oftentimes people are not concerned about it.
So it means that every dollar we spend on clothes has the impact on resources somewhere and somehow.
Yes.
Since I have mentioned about inhuman working condition from the Nike case in Bangladesh, the same issue popped up in the fast fashion business that was stated in the Borgen magazine. It's about humanitarian issues reported in fast fashion production in China.
And there are several aspects regarding the humanitarian issue. Shall we discuss it one by one?
Yes, let's start. Firstly, just guess how long do the worker in the garment industry work per day?
Okay, let me guess. I think it's about 12 hours maximum.
That's incorrect. They are often forced to work 14 to 16 hours a day, 7 days a week. During the peak season, they may work until 2 or 3 a.m. to meet the fashion brand's deadline.
It's almost 24 hours. Are they human or machine?
Humans, sis, but they are forced to do that. It's not what they are willing to do.
That's so cruel.
Moreover, the average age of the workers are so low and they cannot refuse overtime.
You know what? If I were them, I would quit from that job.
Sis, don't forget that they have no choice. As the standard of living is poor, it's necessary and compulsory to do that. Aside from the fact that many would be fired if they refuse to work overtime. In some cases, overtime is not even paid at all.
That is the real nightmare for those workers.
Of course, these humanitarian issues have been reported from time to time in the fashion industry, not only in China but also in Bangladesh and India.
Besides the unfair working hour issues, the wage is also the real concern to those workers too.
Yes, I just said that they are forced to work overtime but they don't get paid the OT as they are supposed to get. You always see the bright side of the fashion brands. Many brands assure their customer that their worker who made their clothing are paid at least the minimum legal wage. But what do you think this message means?
Let me answer your questions this way. If we compare to minimum wage in Thailand, right? Those workers should get paid at 300 baht per day, something like that.
No, it means that many other brands do not even pay the minimum legal salary. Besides, in most of the manufacturing countries like China, Bangladesh, and India, the minimum wage is actually around half to a fifth of the living expenses in some countries.
Jesus Christ! How would they survive? Basically, a cost of living should represent the minimum expenditure that a family requires to fulfill its basic need, right? To pay for the food, the rent, healthcare, and education.
Just imagine that if you have to pay for the bill like 10,000 baht per month, but you can earn only 4,000 baht, how could you survive in this situation?
Oh, sis, I totally have no idea. I would work more to earn more.
I know, right? Unfortunately, they already work overtime like 14 to 16 hours a day, so they have no time to do something else. And the wage they get is also substandard compared to living costs. When it rains, it pours.
Poor them, the workers in that productions of the fast fashion industry.
In short, what the fashion assure to the customer that their worker get paid fairly, it's all wrong. They're bragging about paying their employee 5 times less than what a person actually needs to live with dignity.
So the working conditions is one of the concerns in the fashion industry, right? I have read that the owner speak to that worker is better than nothing. At least we give them a job.
Oh, it sounds miserable to the workers that the owner takes advantage of them.
Right? Because they have no choice, particularly at the poor people in that country. There are products set up the production site there.
Like in China, Bangladesh, and India, the labor resources are plenty, resulting in cheaper labor costs, while most of the clothes are made from countries where worker rights are limited. The production base of these fashion businesses are strategically moving to those countries.
That's right. Even in the EU, they use the term slave labor to describe this working condition in Asia.
So now you know who is the victim in the fashion industry and who is truly a monster, as you can judge the book from its cover.
By the way, China is the mainstream of their productions, especially for the fast fashions with the humanitarian issue existing to the labor who is not really Chinese.
Something like Uyghurs? I think I heard about it. It has been a hot topic for a while. There is a news recently about student activists demanding for fast fashion to free Uyghurs now. If that's the case, it's big issue, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. But today we are run out of time, so next time we will go further about this issue and why China is attractive in the term of their productions. At this point, I intermingle to each other, and we will invite special guest Kulut Luko to be our guest speaker on this particular topic of forced labor in the fast fashion industry, as he encountered a lot of working out issues.
Definitely. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Hang in there.